Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tonya, and I like to share all kinds of bookish content on my channel. And today we're going to be talking about 10 series that I've started and whether I'm going to continue them or not. And this will be just a little bit food for thought for you, as these have all been really popular either on YouTube or Instagram at some point. And it's kind of just my 2 cents worth on whether they're worth reading. So go ahead, grab yourself a cozy drink, sit back and relax, and we're going to talk about these book series. So first up, we're going to talk about A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. And for this one, I'm still a little bit on the fence about it. There is a second book called A Theory in Dreaming that has just come out, and I had already pre-ordered it prior to reading this book, which was probably a mistake, but I did it anyway. And I've just had no motivation to pick up that second book since I finished this book. I haven't really thought about this book. It's not something that stayed with me. I do remember I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3.75 or 4.0. And if you're not familiar with this book, we are following a girl named Effie, and she has been just in love with this certain author's writing since she was a kid. He writes about kind of malicious fae, and it's something that's always intrigued her. She's felt a real connection with his writing, and just something that she really holds near and dear to her heart. Well, she ends up going to university, and at this time where she lives, you can only be in the literature program if you are a man. If you're not a man, then you have to go into some other program. So she was selected to go into the architecture program, even though her true love is literature and this particular writer. She won a design contest to create a new version of the author's estate. He had passed away, and his son was looking for someone to come in and kind of update it to honor his father. And for her, this was the perfect opportunity to go and visit the author's home, learn more about him, and just, experience this firsthand. Well, lots of things happen during this story. There's another student that is there doing research on the author itself. They're kind of rivals, but they end up working together and finding out all sorts of things about the author that neither of them ever anticipated. But what I will say, even though I really enjoyed the imagery of the writing, the actual characters were a little bit two-dimensional. I didn't feel like I became overly invested in them as characters. So for that reason, I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to continue the series or not. That is why this one is a maybe for me. Then next up, we're going to talk about the Kingdom of the Wicked series. This is either the second or the third book in the series, called Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. Sorry if I said that wrong. 50% chance that I did. But this is a YA dark romantasy series, and I think my issue with this series, which unfortunately you're going to see this as a theme, when I get back into reading fantasy from more authors, I bought a lot of books because they were on sale. And I probably shouldn't have done that until I had at least read the first book in the series, but it is what it is at this point. And for this particular book, I think what it falls down to is that I am a little too old for YA romantasy. Just the characters seem too young in them for the most part. And it's just, the story was okay, but it wasn't anything where, I was enthralled or really invested in the romance or the characters in the book. And this particular book follows a young witch who's trying to find out information on her sister's murder, and she ends up making a deal with the Prince of Wrath in order to get more information on what happened to her sister. Same as kind of with The Study in Drowning, which is also a YA book. It just wasn't for me. The characters were once again just a little two-dimensional and a little too on the young side for me. So this is one that I am sure that I won't be continuing. So even though I have the books, I'll end up either putting them in one of my local little free libraries or selling it on Pango or half price books, something like that. Then next up is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. And this is one that I will 100% be continuing. I love this book. It was a 5-star read for me. I laughed, I cried, all the emotions, and I actually can't wait for the second one to come out. We're following Six, and she is a diviner. So basically she dreams people's fate or favor with the omens. So after 10 years of service, the diviners are supposed to be able to be free, go out into the world and live their life. But all of the diviners in her group, which there are 6, which is why her name is Six, as they get closer to this 10-year mark, they all start disappearing. And Six goes on a mission to try to find out what is happening to these diviners. Who's behind it? Is it the omens? Is it something else? And this is just such a great story. There's great banter in it and between her and the male main character. There's an amazing gargoyle side character. Such an inventive world and very atmospheric writing. I can't wait for the next book in this series to come out, which sadly is not until September of next year, but this is one that I will 100% be continuing. Next up, we're going to talk about The Road of Bones by Demi Winters, and this is a Viking-inspired romantasy. This is also one that I will indeed be continuing, as it was another 5-star read for me, and this one was a really surprising 5-star read for me. I didn't really have high expectations one way or the other when I went into it, but there was so many plot twists and things that I didn't see coming that, you know, it was just a wild ride and I really enjoyed it. In this book, we're following Scylla, and she has found out there's some things in her past that her father has lied to her about. People are chasing her. She doesn't know why. Her father ends up getting killed on the road as they're trying to travel north to the safe haven city. And she ends up, because she still wants to go north, but she knows she can't make it there on her own, she stows away in a wagon of a group of mercenaries who, of course, do find her. I mean, there's no way you're gonna make it in the wagon all the way to your destination without anyone noticing that you're in said wagon. But, you know, lots of things happen along the way. There's some different reveals. And like I said, lots of plot twists that I didn't see coming. Lots of found family and just a really good, unexpected story. So definitely will be continuing this one as well. Now we're going to talk about The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and this is a YA fantasy, so not a YA romantasy, but a true fantasy, and it does have lots of wicked fae in it, which I always enjoy, and this is one where I do believe I'm going to continue with the series. I just don't know at what point. It interests me enough where I know I will read the next book at some point, maybe when I'm have some downtime or there's nothing else that I'm finding that really excites me to read. But it's not one where I finished it and I was jumping to get to the next book in the series. So it's good. I wouldn't say it's great, but I will continue the series at some point. Now we're going to talk about Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I will be continuing this series. Brimstone, which is the second book in the series, just showed up at my door yesterday, so I can't wait to get into that one. This is one series that I know people either they love it or they hate it. If you like kind of a vast world that has a lot of different side characters, strong side characters, and found family, lots of banter, then you're going to enjoy this book. What some people don't like about it is the beginnings of the relationship that Ceres, our female main character, has with our male main character, Fisher. It starts off kind of enemies to lover-esque, but it never was enemies to lover. It was more both of them having a front on to try to protect themselves from their feelings And that led to much sarcasm and much banter. But to me, it was never bully or hateful. It was more people just trying to protect themselves with a mask. In this book, we are following Seraph, and she lives in a very poor part of the city in the realm that she lives in. She's had to steal in order for her and her brother to decide. Her mother was killed for helping out rebels, so she's been on her own for a long time, just trying to get by as best she can. She ends up stealing something from one of the queen's guards. They track her down and take her back to the queen to be punished. Well, she ends up fighting for her life, and during this time, she taps into some magic that she kind of suspected she had, but she doesn't really know how to use it or what it can do. But it basically opens up a portal, and a Fey warrior steps through named Kingfisher, and he scoops her up and steps back through the portal, and it closes. So when she wakes up, she finds she's in the Fey realm, which she wasn't even sure if this Fey realm existed, but now she's found herself there, and she has to find a way to get home to check in on her brother. And she ends up making a deal with Kingfisher to help him fight this battle that's been going on. And in turn, he'll take her back to her realm so she can check in on her brother. So they kind of start off on the wrong foot, but their relationship grows throughout the book. And where this book truly shines is the banter and all of the different side characters. I loved every minute of reading it. I've also listened to the audiobook, which I loved as well. So I can't wait to pick up Brimstone, and I'm sure it will not disappoint. Another series that I've started is Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and this is one that I will be continuing. It is a YA. I believe it's technically a romantasy, but I think it leans more to fantasy with a romance subplot, which I think is part of why I did enjoy this book. That, along with the atmospheric kind of whimsical writing that Stephanie Garber does so well, did keep me interested in the plot. There were parts of it that were predictable and some things that I didn't see coming, but basically we're following Scarlett and her sister, who they have a horrible father who abuses them, takes advantage of them, and they're trying to find a way to escape him and live a better life. There's this magical carnival that happens once a year where you can win different prizes if you complete it. And Scarlett has been writing to see if she could get invited and get tickets to Caraval, which is the carnival, for the majority of her life. And she basically had given up on ever getting tickets until suddenly 2 tickets arrive for her. And her sister end up sneaking out to try to make it to Caraval and see if they could win this prize and if it'll change their lives. And of course, the carnival type atmosphere, she never really knows who she can trust. She and her sister end up getting separated pretty early on, and just lots of things that happen along the way. Now, in the second book, I believe that we're more following Scarlett's sister than Scarlett. She still is in the second book, but her sister is the main female character of the next book. So I am interested enough to continue with the series. I love Stephanie Garber's writing style, so that is a big part in why I am continuing, even though this book did feel a little on the young side, just in the character's maturity, not necessarily in the storyline. Now we're going to talk about When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, and this is another one that I will 100% be continuing. Now, some people have said that they thought that the storyline in this could be predictable at parts. I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like there was enough spins on things that were happening that it did feel really original to me. Rave is such an interesting character. She doesn't really remember much of her past. She just knows that she has a lot of demons from that past that she is just not ready to deal with, essentially. And there's also a unique twist on dragons in this world, when they die, they basically fossilize in the sky and become moons. So they're like permanent stars orbiting, this realm. And it's really sweet and really sad all at the same time, that this is what happens to these dragons. But there's a lot that goes on in this book. Ray finds out many things about her past. There's quite a bit in here that I didn't see coming, and I just really enjoyed the complexity of the characters, the world, just the hard situations that they found themselves in. So there is no doubt that I will be continuing the series, and I absolutely can't wait for the sequel to come out. Now we're going to talk about Silver Elite by Dani Francis, and this one is a little different from what I usually read. It's more of a dystopian romantasy than like a true fantasy, and even more so than I would say the dystopian portion of it. It feels very military in nature. Lots of what takes place, at least in this first book, takes place on the Army's training grounds and in the barracks there. So it's very military in nature with kind of a sprinkling of romance thrown in there. The magic in this world is mind gifts, and it's something where if you're found to have any sort of psychic abilities, then you are imprisoned or executed. And Ren has been hiding the fact that she has these abilities for her whole life. And then, events happen where she gains the attention of the military, and they end up recruiting her to become a soldier in their special forces. So she decides that she's going to try to take down the enemy from within. Now, I found this book to be good, but not great. I think that at some point I will continue this one as well, but it's another one where I'm not clamoring to get to it. So it's not high up on my list, but as I said, if I do find myself with some downtime, or I happen to get my hands on a copy of the book, I will read it. But I would also say if I didn't read it, I wouldn't be sad either. So if it comes up where I have an opportunity to read the sequel, I will. Otherwise, I'm fine with not reading it too. Then lastly, we are going to talk about Crescent City. I am definitely going to be continuing this series. I know a lot of people are a little kind of wishy-washy on the third book in this series, but after the way the second book ended, A House of Sky and Breath, I cannot not pick this book up. It was a big enough cliffhanger where I have to know what in the hell happens with this book. It's something that I just need to know. So I will be reading it. If you're not familiar with the Crescent City books by Sarah J. Maas, we're following Bryce and Hunt. Bryce is a half human, half fae, and Hunt is an angel. And this is an urban fantasy, and in this particular world, there's a lot of different beings and kind of factioned out in the city. So there's the angels, there's the merfolk, there's the wolves, there's the fae, there's the humans. But the humans, they are on the bottom of the chain of command, and they're looked down upon, they're not treated very well. And Bryce, as a half human and half fae, she's kind of always been in between worlds. Well, things start to happen, and a lot of Bryce's friends end up getting killed. So she goes out on a mission to basically find out what happened to them, solve their murders, avenge their deaths. And that leads to Hunt being assigned to her as a bodyguard, and then their relationship kind of progresses from there. Lots of different things happen in this series. The second book ended on such a cliffhanger that I can, as I said, not read the third book. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it does not disappoint, but even if it ends up disappointing, I just need to know what happens. So definitely will be continuing this series as well. So I hope you enjoyed my little take on these 10 popular series and if I will be continuing them or not. Like I said, this is just my 2 cents worth, but hopefully it gives you a little insight into maybe if these series would be something that you're interested in reading. I did also just want to let you know I'm going to attempt to do Bookmas. Not anything I've ever done before, but my goal is to try to do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday through Christmas, which that's a lot more videos than I normally put out. So we're kind of just gonna see how it goes. I do work a full-time job, as well as I also run a bath and body business on the side. And then, you know, I also do YouTube as well. So we're gonna see how all that plays out, but I'm excited to do some different videos for you guys and to just kind of hang out a little more this holiday season. So I hope you'll come along and join me for Bookmas. Take care, keep reading, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.